All right. Yes. Now I'll be just sharing my screen again, and I hope. Yes. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Great. So before we start off with the session, once again, a warm welcome to everyone who has taken the time out to face the fears, and we're going to talk about it a lot. So just be comfortable. To start off with, I am Nivedita, a counseling psychologist, done my master's in psychology from Tata Institute of Social Sciences in 2014. And since then, I have been working with the field with children, adults, and so on and so forth. I have recently joined IITB, and it's been an amazing journey so far. So I look forward for the same. And now when we talk about the flow of the session, this is how we're going to be looking at is first to understand what is failure, the meaning, the understanding, what is a mindful approach, which is in the acronym of RAIN. So we actually experience RAIN. We're going to see how we experience the fear of failure and how do we cope with it. Then we look for the signs and stages of failure, how to fix them, and so on and so forth. So then we move forward to understand a little activities that I want to talk about. So what do you feel when you talk about failure? What are you afraid about? So I have given a little pointers for you guys so that you all can talk about it. You all can unmute and share.
I think I am afraid of, like, I'll be afraid of staying alone.
Mhm.
Loneliness is like, one of my fears. Anybody else would want to talk
Anybody
about
else?
their
Yes.
fears?
Thank you for sharing, Sulagna.
Yeah, overthinking is also, yes, it is definitely a fear. Yeah, and I tend to
So
do.
so
Yes.
there was this bad incidents happen in my race, and I could
Mhm.
not able to raise my voice at that particular instance. So I felt very bad and afraid, and so that was hurting me very bad. So I think this is one of my afraid thing.
Great, good that you spoke about talking about your fear and giving a voice to it. We will definitely be covering that as well. So, giving voice, and when you know that you're afraid of something, and then how do you face about it? Yes. What about others?
I would say that I fear of losing chances or opportunity. So like when the
I'm sorry. Can you be a little loud? I can't hear you.
yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I said like I fear of losing opportunity. So when opportunity comes up, and if I'm not in the best of my form, or you know in the like if I'm not able to do well at that time, on that point
Uh-huh.
of time when the opportunity comes up, so that really fears me.
Okay, okay. So as much as I could hear, it is about the fear of opportunities if in case you're able to face them and whether or not you're able to get those across. Did I get it right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
You
great.
have stage, right?
Yes, I can see Gopal has written that overthinking drop in grades not being good enough. Very well done, Gopal. I know you are seeing the screen and you're putting it down, but I want to know what are your thoughts or what are your failure like uh, things that you are afraid of. Like I would like to share my fear at one. So basically, it keeps on changing from time to time. But the one thing that has been constant is the like I'm scared of dogs. So I don't mind like being in and around the vicinity, but if they come close, I'm very scared because they once pounced on me. And second is the fear of heights. Like I love traveling like by flights and everything, but any adventurous sports, it happens like the bungee jumping and all of this. I'm like, no, 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 I can't do it. I like the moment I talk about it, I start getting a little fidgety. So yes, that's one of the fears that I have. Prathamesh says the fear of judgment. Absolutely. We all have faced that in the past, and I'm sure a lot of us have been through it as well. What else? What else? What are the other fears?
Ma'am, I
Common?
have a stage fear.
Yes. Yes, yes, go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, good
Ma'am,
evening.
I feel stage fear means talking to audience. life means physically talking to many people.
Mhm.
During my schools and colleges, I always fear, but I do not overcome this.
Okay. Okay. So I guess you're talking about the fear of talking in front of people or the stage fear, if I put it in like simple words, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you. Also, Aditya says failing to do a thing within a given time. So it's usually the fear of time management, whether or not will I be able to finish my task in time or not. So yes, absolutely, Aditya. I feel you. I've been there. I've done that, and I always do it. So one of the fears, definitely. How about something which talks about not being good enough? Have you all ever felt that, faced that, experienced that?
Not exactly, not bit good enough, but I would say that how it is being received, like by the ones that you present your thoughts to. Maybe in a college, you're presenting something to the to the entire team of professors and others. So how it will be taken up is something, because one negative comment leads to an inclination of another negative comment from another one, and
Mhm.
that kind of, it's like a human nature. We all are a part of it. So generally, very few people go out and then kind of go ahead with saying that, okay, I find in this presentation this still better. If the
Mhm.
usually the flow is negative, everybody else go into the negative target. So how it will be received is something.
Okay. I just 1 second. I think I again missed out on the voice. Yeah. Swati, can you repeat the last few parts? You spoke about the presentation and then I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was just generally saying that once anyone give a student or anybody is giving a presentation and he has done his best and he has been also quite confident about having things, but once a negative loop is started
Hmm.
by because you don't have an authority, or kind of having above you a discussion over that, so you're not in one with the other, with whom you are presenting. If you're presenting to a big thing of professors and all, you are in no authority, you can only be polite and leave it there. So if a negative thing keeps on going, everything else goes into a negativity. So how the fear of that what if somebody negatively start one comment, everybody will start supporting him, and they will just end it up to you.
Oh, okay. So, like just to put in simple words, what Swati is trying to share is, whenever we present or whenever we have to share our thoughts, it could be in a presentation or it could be when somebody is questioning you in a class of like 40, 50 students altogether. So always we do fear that like the judgment is that what if in case I give the right answer? What if in case I give the wrong answer? And then not a, and again it is difficult for me to bring it to the right note. So yes, all of us have been there, and there is this one aspect that we always want to be correct, which is not going to be possible. So the sooner we accept it, the better, and we'll see how do we accept that as well. So in the chat box we have Vikram who writes that the fear of missing the opportunity. Yes. Also, I believe somebody had, yeah, Satam had written FO, that is FOMO, fear of missing out. If in case I get it in that way, so the fear of missing out is real. I'm sure in the last 1 year, all of us have been through it, and we've experienced it. We'll talk about it in a little detail as we move forward. Also, when we talk about the fear of missing opportunities, definitely we talk about our self doubt, our self worth. So as we come forward, we will be talking about that. Also, I would like you all to as Sulagna said that we have conducted the sessions in the past and we spoke about self love and good habits. I would really urge you to go and hear about that session on YouTube after we have conducted this session. Then we talk about fear of making commitments. So, uh, yes, being adult, that's the difficult task, is to take decisions and to stand by your own decision. So how do you take a decision? How do you come to a consensus when you want to give your thoughts saying that what you want to do, and how do you stick to that? So we'll also look at the fear of decision making. So thank you, Aditya, for the question. Also, when we talk about trying anything new, so I think Gopal says that any time you want to try anything new, that is the fear of whether it is a hobby or a routine or a habit, whether or not it will fall in place. So we'll also look at how to be consistent with our habits, and how do we ensure that we take the decision in the rightful manner. Then we have Satvik, who talks about a lot of anxiety, especially when making important decisions. So again, the fear of taking a decision and sticking by it. So all of these concerns are absolutely true, and I would want to thank you all for being very facing it and honestly sharing it across. As I move forward, I would want you to say that whenever we talk about fears, the first thing that comes about is, if I fail, then what? I'm sure all of us have been through that. What if I fail and I'm not able to get back on track? Or what if in case I fail so miserably that I do not know where to start from? Being through that, all of us have known that if we fail, that's not the last step. We can always move forward. So, always, as the cliche would say, that what if I fail, but what if you really fly? So, we'll look into it and see how that goes across. So, when we talk about fear of failure or coping with failure, your grades, your overthinking, whether you're not enough or not, or as we move forward, like towards the fourth sem, it's going to be about the placements, whether you get your right decision when you choose your companies or the company chooses you, whether or not to go ahead with all of that. So having spoken about what are the fears or what are you afraid about, I would want to talk about how do we see at the other side of the fear. Because as Jack Canfield says, everything you want is on the other side of fear. So I'm going to be doing an activity wherein I'm going to be showing you certain images along with certain thoughts. I want you all to unmute and share your thoughts, or you can write it down in the chat box. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Okay, so I'm starting off with the first one. You can read the text and you can write it in the chat box, or you can, as again, unmute and tell me. Okay, can you all see the screen?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes. So, what do you think is the answer for this?
Albert Einstein.
Okay, Albert Einstein. Great, but why? Anybody knows the reason why?
Because according to him, till he got to the age of 4, everything was in right order. So he did not need to speak anything.
Okay, I'll tell you the reason why. So, whenever we talk about education or whenever we talk about milestones, we are expected to do, or we should be, or must be doing certain things. So, first and foremost, the answer is absolutely correct. It is Albert Einstein. As children, if we do not speak at a certain age, our parents usually get worried. If we do not score good marks in the school, which is as small as junior KG, senior KG, you all must be seeing it amongst your family members that if the child is going to the nursery or this LKG programs also, he or she may be facing difficulties, and then we are very quick to judge and say, okay, the child is having difficulty. But here we have a genius was not able to speak until he was 4 years old, or else could not read and write until he was 7. But the world today knows him as Albert Einstein. So, although we face these difficulties, we should know that that is not what is us and how we can move ahead. All right, the next one. He was initially rejected by Hollywood studios before they felt it was too nonsensical to say. Who is the one? Okay. And the answer comes from Satwik, if I'm not wrong. Charlie Chaplin. Okay. Yes, it is Charlie Chaplin. How many of y'all have seen his videos and could make sense of what he was talking? If y'all can unmute and share. I'm just curious to know how was your experience when you saw Charlie Chaplin on the screen?
Really appreciated his performance though,
Yes.
but I think apart from that, I was too small to see things, so I couldn't really make a story out of it so much. But really appreciated the performance.
Absolutely. I think that was Swati, right?
Yes.
Yes, Swati. So I completely copy whatever you said, because even when I saw Charlie Chaplin, I was a young kid and everybody else expected us to express in the words or into the expressive manners of talking. But when we see or when we talk about Charlie Chaplin, he never spoke a single word. But the amount of emotions, the amount of expressions all over his face and his body language showed us what he really wanted to say through his actions. So, yes, the answer is Charlie Chaplin. But I hope you all are also focusing on the written part, which is there on the title to recognize them. So, the next one was thought to be unfit for television, who was later the huge success and running her own show for 25 years. Today owns her own television network. Who am I? Okay. Yes. So we have
Oprah.
Vishwanath, Herschel, Aditya. No, Aditya is not answered as yet. But yes, you guys are right. It is Oprah Winfrey. If you ever get a chance to read about her and her journey, I'm sure you will feel so much blessed to know the way she has dealt with her journey and how inspiring it is for us as an individual to learn from the struggles that she has gone through. So it is Oprah Winfrey, and today her network is known as Oprah Winfrey Network. Again, it's OWN, so she owns it in the real sense. Let's look at the next one. Go and stand in the economic class line. This queue is only for business class travelers. Who do you think is the person? Can you give it a try? Can you guess who the person is? Okay. Swati says, Tanushta says, Sudhamurti. Can you all give me the reason why? Or why do you all know the story? Okay, thank you, Gopal. When Gopal has given me an answer. So I want you all to let me know why is it Sudhamurti or why is it Indranui?
Yes, so it was a famous story. It came in the newspapers, and even she herself talked about it. She was wearing just simple salwar kameez,
Yes.
and depending on her dress, they made some. They just put her in a class depend on her dress. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for sharing. That's very something that we all go through, the fear of judgment. She was judged on her attire, which otherwise is a very normal attire for us, representing Indian culture. And despite of her simplicity, she was mistaken to be from the other class and not from the business class. Also, the very fact that both the personalities have been onto the very topmost level. Indra Nooyi has been the she was the head of the PepsiCo, like being a CEO then and even today. If you all have heard about her interviews, also it was told to her that the CEO that you are is in the office. When you come back home, you're a normal individual being. But when we talk about Sudha Murthy, she has spoken in her interviews. Also, she has written in her book called as 30 stitches, 30,000 stitches, if I'm wrong. So that is when she talks about how the simplicity is where we as individuals usually get judged, and we also judge others. So now that we have shared our thoughts and understood how it works, we are going to now understand how to be talk about everything to do with
Conversing.
understanding of an individual and failures. So just give me a moment while I
इससे बड़ा
take
नहीं
you
है क्या?
forward.
ये बड़ा वाला है?
Niveda, can you please
Then is there
mute
some
Yes,
Aditya?
yes. I'll just mute everyone because this part is
इसमें रूम कम लग रही है
वो कटिया भी आ गया ना नहीं लाया नहीं है वो वाला कटिया आ गया
all right. So again, one second.
बड़े वाला ही है ना ये बड़े वाला ही है वो काफी बड़ा
Okay, so I am just trying to figure out. Yes. Okay, so now that we move forward, we will understand how this session works and how are we going to see how we understand failures. So when we talk about failures, the first thing to identify is what is the meaning of failure. When we talk about failure, it is nothing but the lack of success or an absence of where you wanted your things to be or where you wanted to see yourself achieving. As human beings, not all failures are created equal. Some could be good, some could come as expected, and some could just come out of the blue when you were not expecting it. So as we say that fear is not always bad, but it is absolutely straightforward. Failure is something which is not going to be sugarcoated. It will not tell you, okay, let me give you a try and see whether or not you have succeeded or not. It will either tell you that you've succeeded or you have not succeeded. So the failure is always going to be about an incident, but not you as an individual or a person. How do we understand or how do we make meaning of failure? So to understand fear or the fear of failure or to cope with failure, the first thing is discipline. Be determined to understand that where was the lacking happening, where is it that you fell short of your efforts or your expertise, to know what went wrong. Be disciplined to be determined to do better each time and every time. So when you cope with your failures or when you try and overcome your failures, that needs to be your first step. The second step is going to be enthusiasm. Many a times we get very bogged down with the fact that, acha, this did not go as per my liking, or this did not went the way I expected it to be. We do have a lot of burden on our shoulders about expectations. But if we can just keep that aside and be excited or enthusiastic to learn and understand where the failure took place. What is the wisdom it taught me? What was my learning out of that failure? And that's when you can definitely move forward to a better step. Also, it's important to understand being emotionally unpleasant. Failure is that kind of an emotion. It will not let you know that, okay, you have failed and you're going to be proud about yourself. Very rare you will find yourself coming through that perspective. But as a general perspective, all of us feel very bad. We feel very disturbed and our own self-esteem gets hampered. To understand about self-esteem, we need to be aware where is this failure coming from? How can I tap it? And how can I make progress from it? So just to have the very baseline, whenever any failure comes across, it comes from two things. One, that has to be at least one reason why we have failed, and the second most is, irrespective of the reason, you can bounce back from that failure. So to move forward, we understand that whenever any kind of failure comes across, how do we understand what failure is? So I want to share an concept of rain. Rain is something all of us have experienced. We've been through rain, we must have got wet, or even if having an umbrella or a raincoat, you must have experienced yourself being completely drenched with water. Taking the same concept, I want to talk about your fears of failure, or how do you cope with your failures. The first thing is recognize. When I talk about a failure, whenever you have come across a failure, ask yourself what is happening to you and inside of you. Many a times we have two distinct factors. One is the external factor, which happens because of the environment, and one is the internal factor, that is my relationship with myself. So, how am I feeling about this failure? Where in my body do I feel that? Some of us have, we have sleepless nights. Some of us stammer when we talk. Some of us probably happen to spit out on the other person because we are super excited. Some of us can find their body parts being very stiff or very loose, either a way. Recognize your body signs, and then you must have experienced yourself talking that I'm so mad at myself for failing an exam. It could be that yes, you have failed an examination and you would want to cry. Wanting to cry is your expression, and being mad at yourself is your emotion. So that's where you need to recognize what is your emotion and what is the expression. That's where we recognize the fear. Then we understand allow. The second part of RAIN, and A stands for you have to allow, or you should be able to allow your life just the way it is. I can let the thoughts or feelings just be there, even if I don't like. Most of us have experienced that no, you should always be good or always be happy, always be enthusiastic. That's not going to happen. We are human beings, we feel emotions, we do feel hurt, and allowing yourself to express, to cry, to laugh, and to share your emotions is the biggest, most blessing that we as human beings have. So it could be that I am mad and I feel like crying, but it's uncomfortable. Even though it is uncomfortable, I will allow myself to cry. Let me know how many of you all relate to me when I say that whenever we want to cry, we either go into the washroom, or we say that आँख में कुछ गया है, or we say that गले में कुछ अटक गया है. All of these things because we do not want to cry in front of others, because that is seen as a sign of weakness. But if you just allow yourself to cry, give yourself that permission that, okay, I am not feeling good about XYZ thing, and I want to take time out and cry for some time. That is absolutely what you need to do. Decide when you want to cry, talk about your thoughts to yourself, write it down somewhere, and move forward with it. Then we talk about our next alphabet, which is I, which is investigate. Look into yourself, look within, but be sure to be kind to yourself. Why do I feel in this way, or is this emotion that I'm feeling true? Many a times we feel very agitated, very angry, and then out of that anger we happen to cry. If you all have got into a fight and you're very very angry, you might feel that your body is probably shivering, or your body is very hot. You're not able to say the words, but you're only crying. That is identify your emotions. What is it that you're feeling? I am angry. I feel disappointed in myself, especially when we asked about the queries about the workshop. I believe a lot of us who are pursuing a PhD, a lot of students who have scored very less marks. This is what I want you to do. Ask yourself, but with kindness. Where is it that the marks that I have been able to try, where is it the difficulty? What do I need to do? It's okay to sulk about the scores that you have. It is okay to feel bad about it. But after you allow your emotions to be shared, then you have to move forward. If you keep on bottling up your emotions, eventually it's going to be burst out in a very bad way, which we do not want. So take time for yourself, investigate how the feeling is, and then move forward. And the last N in your reign is your non-identification. Whenever you get over attached with either an emotion or an expression is when the problem happens. Identify that situation as an external situation. Tell yourself that either it is a thought or it is an emotion. I am allowed to feel it, but I am not that emotion or that thought or that expression. What I mean is, many a times when we are angry, upset, super jealous about things, now jealousy, envy, excitement, all of these emotions are loud emotions. And we are very easy when we judge the opposite, or sometimes even ourselves saying that I am this person, I am an angry person, or I am somebody who has a very short temper. Detach yourself by labeling yourself. Do not label yourself of being either very angry or either of the extremes. Tell yourself that it's okay for me to be angry and disappointed, but I am stronger than this situation and I can move ahead from this situation. So, next time, whenever you come across any failure, ask yourself, take a pause and run through this rain. Recognize, allow, investigate, and be non identification. That is, detach yourself from an over attachment. When you are being mindful, that's how you come into the present, you understand what is the problem, and then you know what needs to be taken further. Are you all with me? Can somebody in the chat box let me know if we are good to go ahead, or do we need to take a pause or something? Any questions, anything anybody wants to share so far?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
The main issue with immediately after facing failure is the kind of a positive fear loop which starts over. Like the consequences keep appearing more and more.
Satvik, right? Can you be a little loud because I can't really
Oh,
hear
sorry.
you. Yes.
So the consequences of a failure. So those are the main things which stop you from being logical at that moment, because the immediate minute you have realized that this failed. It's the same minute where you start fearing about the consequences which are going to appear, which haven't yet happened, but which might happen in the near future. So that is the main fear which will stop us from getting back and being logical at the current moment and not making things worse. So at that point, so especially the recognized part of the rain model. So how can we do that effectively at that moment to recognize the difference between our expression and our emotion when we are uh, really more under a huge anxiety of what's going to happen?
Yes. So if I'm guessing, if I'm able to understood it right, Satvik, it is majorly when we talk about emotion or whenever we are faced with any kind of a difficulty, it is how do we ensure that that kind of a difficulty or uh, that situation, how do I be able to identify if I am, being kind or not, and how do I move forward? Is that correct? Did I get it right, Satvik? If not, can you please write
Yes,
it down? Because okay, I think I got it correct. So how do I make a difference between identifying? So when you talk about investigation, whenever you are faced with an opportunity to make a decision, whether you have to take up an opportunity or not, or whether you commit yourself or not, or how do you plan yourself further, all of these aspects which goes into making a commitment or making a decision for your life, I would, each one of us, we would, should always ensure that you plan a figure out to see where the steps are. Like, for example, over here, when I'm talking about recognize, allow, investigate, and being non judgmental, whenever you're faced with an opportunity or a decision, ask yourself, how do I feel when I make this decision? Is it something that I am very afraid about it, or is it something which was making me feel very 50-50 about it? If I take this decision, where will it lead me? But if I choose this option, where will it lead me further? Will I be okay if I choose to go ahead with option A, What are my pros and my cons? What is my gains and my losses? Similarly with the option B. And the non-judgmental is whether or not I know that I succeed, am I able to enjoy the journey to reach my last point or to reach my success? If I am able to do that, if I'm able to put that picture in my mind, then making decision becomes very easy. We'll also see what are the signs of failure and how do we identify with all of these when we talk about the signs of failure. So, do you all many a times or once in a while have faced any of these that I have written down? One is, do you worry about what others will think about you or about being judged by others? Do you often get last minute headaches or stomach aches or any kind of a physical symptom which is because you are about to do a presentation or you're about to do your submissions or assignments? Do you feel that in a relationship or in a work or a professional life, either of the ways, if you do not give your best, then you're not good as a human being? Do you fear like more than failure, it's the rejection that is more fearful to you? Also, a lot of y'all spoke about getting your grades which are very low. How do you come back to it, or how do you cope with the failure of having low grades? But I want to ask you a question. Do you get distracted when you are planning your studies? If in case you're pursuing your work or your PhD or your first sem or the last sem, whichever stage of life you are in, how does it feel to you when you are doing the process of working? If you all have nodded yes to any of these, or if you all have felt any of these fears or the signs of failure, I would want to first take a moment and tell yourself to give a pat on your back, because this is something that we are afraid of. And I can completely understand how it feels when we talk about it, when we share about it, and when we hear about it. So Harshal also says that yes, he can relate to all the points. And when I was going through making this presentation, even I had these things that as a student, as an individual who is working in the field, I'm sure even Sulagna would agree to this, that all of us have felt this at some point in time. Also in our personal lives or in the professional lives, whenever we talk about relationships, whether we are accepted by the opposite person or we are rejected by the opposite person, we usually take that to our heart, and that becomes a stone in our heart. But any of the signs or everything that I have noted down here comes from the fear of being judged, or that comes with the sign of being shamed upon or being looked down upon. So if you all can relate to it, and if you all have felt that these could be the signs that you are expressing or have experienced in the past, I want you all to take forward to understand that how we can look at these stages of failure. So whenever any difficulty or any situation, may that be personal, may that be professional, or a combination of studies, education, and your work, first is identify how the mistake took place. Whenever we talk about the stages of failure, it is into three parts. The one is how, the next is what, and the last is why. Where is it that the problem has happened and that led to the failure? Look out for your techniques in case if you were studying, if in case you were having a conversation with somebody else who felt it was very important for them. How is it that you ensured that your communication was given out? How did you communicate with the person? Even when we are sharing our thoughts in a class, how is it that we talk about it, or how do we feel about being a little scared about sharing our thoughts with others? In case if you want to use this for your education, use the way of how is your way that you are studying. Are you putting in the actual amount of effort that needs to go for your studies? Are you able to measure out what you are doing is correct, or is it going into the right direction? So first is the failure of tactic, which is the technique that you are using. The second is what, that is the strategy. Whenever we face any kind of failure, it could be because there was inconsistency, there was something that you knew that you want to do it but you haven't done it. For example, like all of us in the last 1 year might have put on a little weight due to the pandemic and might have not been able to shed that post the pandemic, although we are not over, but a little of us are able to move around. So if in case in your mind you all have taken the health as an example, that your health was very good, but in the pandemic you've either put on some weights or you've lost some pounds, how is it that you are wanting to get back to track? What is your technique to ensure that your strategy or the way you process is correct? If you want to put it in the terms of your education, if you have scored low marks, identify what are the steps you need to do to ensure that your scoring is better. A lot of y'all who are doing PhD are at the stage that either you focus on your studies, your education, your family, or your own health. Look at the way you are planning your things. What is it that needs to change and how can you get that change? So whenever you look at what, that is the technique, you will definitely be able to identify what the how is or how you can make the changes. And last and foremost, but very important, which is the basis of any stages, the vision. Ask yourself, why is it important to you? If you can't see it clearly for yourself, I'm very sure even others won't be able to see it for you. So ask yourself that what is the mistake that you made? Why did that happen in the first place? Did the techniques go wrong anywhere? Was the processing made to be done in a different sense? Whichever way the processing is, you can always fix that up. Whenever we talk about the stages, I'm going to be leaving this with you when you ask yourself that how did you make a mistake or where did things go wrong? What is it that you can do to make it right, and why is it important to you? If you can answer these questions for yourself, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the fixing, which will be very easy for you. So when we talk about fixing the stages of failure, there are three parts to it, just the way we had stages of failure. First is to ensure how. So as we go back to the earlier sessions, we had done something on time management. If in case you want to record your education or your studies, look at the way you are allocating your time for each task. Record your process. See if you're doing it correctly. Put in the amount of work that you do and see what is the outcome. So it's like record your process, measure your outcome, and then you have to review how you were better than the last time you did anything. The next stage is to identify the what or to fix the what. First and foremost is the moment any thought comes to you, identify the thought, look at the processes and do it quickly. If you keep thinking about it, if you keep on contemplating, kal karenge, parso karenge, we'll do it later, or acha, there's still 1 month to go for an quiz or an examination, without knowing the time will fly by and you will be difficult, like you will face difficulty in putting that things across. Then you will have all the signs of having fidgety mind, not able to sleep well, having stress, body pains, all the physical symptoms. If in case you can review your own task, do it reasonably. That is, you have to ensure the amount of effort you're putting in. Does that effort give you to a process that you want to succeed? If not, what is it that you want to revise? What are the steps you need to change to ensure that whatever work that you are expecting, either it could be your grades, it could be your emotions, it could be your relationships, it could also be commitments, whether to work or to relationships or taking decisions. identify. If you keep thinking in for a long time, nothing will happen because the time will be anyways gone. But if you think, act on it and revise, you will know what are the changes required. Lastly, the vision of failure, or if in case you are able to see how things look at the end of the tunnel, you will know how to walk into that path. That is, take stock of your life. See what all your assets are, what are the strengths that you have. Determine that this time is going to be working only on X effort that I want. This time is only for this XYZ thing that I want to do. If you can plan your day better, if you can plan your activities better, it will definitely help you to work well. Then you have to, last and foremost, is to identify the criticisms. So when we talk about self criticism, that's the most biggest enemy than others criticizing you. If you all have seen the session, or if you all were a part of the session of self love and good habits, we covered a lot about how it is important to you. If you are putting in your 100%, I am very sure that by the end of the session, you will feel that whatever you did was up to your better points. All of the things that you are going across, if you are going to be bad to yourself, I'm very sure others are going to be labeling you. So tell yourself, be compassionate to yourself and be kind to yourself with whatever things you do. If you are able to do that well, I am very sure everything will fall in place. All the anxieties, all the depression, all the stress, all the trauma, especially that has been caused in the last few days or in a year, is what we will be able to look for. Then we move forward to understand how can you conquer your failure, how do you overcome your failure. As I said that a lot of us have experienced failure. It could lead a lot of negative feelings or unpleasant emotions, but all of this is cognitive. It is something which can be changed into a behavioral pattern and in your thought process. So rather than outside, it is the inside work that you need to do. When will that happen? Whenever you tell yourself that fear is only for shame and that does not affect me in any point in time. Tell yourself that it is a negative thing and how do you move forward from that negative. So we look at simple, quick 10 pointers or the coping mechanisms to ensure that we have a healthy way of looking it forward. First and foremost is embrace your emotions. Whatever it is, good, bad, better, best, feel it, express it, and then move forward. Don't get stuck up on your emotions. Second is practice healthy coping strategies. That is, look at the why, how, and what that you want to do. Talk about your belief systems. Sometimes it is very irrational, that is, it is coming from no base. Think about those expressions and then move forward. Ask yourself, what is it that you can learn from this situation of failure? Use it as your stepping stone because every failure is what leads you to success. Take the negativity out of your system because if you're going to be bogged down with the negativity, I am sure you will never be able to see at the positive side. Learn from it, but do not take it personally. Many times we judge ourselves for all the bad things that happens, but if you are able to detach from it, that's when you can move forward in life. Also, laugh it out. Laughing at your own mistakes is the most amazing thing. I have done it in the past and that has helped me a lot. So I would ask you all to always have that sense of humor within you. If you all have seen that Mr. Bean series and stories, I'm sure you can learn a lot from his act that he puts across. Lastly, give yourself the 24-hour rule. If an emotion or an expression or a situation comes across, the last 24 hours have gone by, I can't change it. The coming 24 hours is not in my hand. I have my present 24 hours. How can I make the best of it? And last and foremost, use your support system. We all are here to help you out, your friends, family, parents, mentors, teachers. The list is so on and so forth. And definitely, we as Team Bandhu, the website is there. You can reach out to us at any given point in time. So lastly, I would want you all to give voice to your failures or the difficulties. Bring it to your advantage. Share about what you feel. It could also be that somebody else is feeling the same fear, and your thought might give them a solution, or it could give you a better perspective. Look at both the ways. It could be an optimistic way of looking at things, that is either the glass is half full or half empty. It's your choice. Definitely, when you talk about it, you will feel unburdened. You will feel that the shoulders automatically go a little down. That means your body is giving you a relaxed side. And last and foremost, it helps you to be more confident. So, as we have seen a lot many things of how failure will help you to grow as a person, I do not want you all to be bogged down by the fear of it. And hence, these coping strategies is what was my way to help you to ensure that you can face your failures, you can get the steps of coping with your failures, and you can move forward. Lastly, we are open to questions, but before I send out this message to you, I want you all to make a note of this book called as Tuesdays with Maury. You can either have a look at your movie, or you all can also have a look at the book that is there. It will definitely help you identify how as an individual we do come across obstacles, and how can we learn from it. So that is my thought about how you can cope with your failures. And I have shared a link with in the chat box, which is to share your feedback to us. As I had said in the starting of the session, that I wanted you all to open up about your fears and how you faced with the failures. Towards the end, I hope you have got the loop completed and got your answers to identify how you can cope with your failures and be a better you tomorrow. So that's from my end. I'm going to be sharing the stage with you all so that you all can share your thoughts, emotions, anything that you felt about the session.
Hello,
So yes, you all
Nivedita.
can
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. Uh, so there was a question. It was also related to the mail sent to us about self-worth. So I really, for me, self-worth is really equal to the amount of work that I'm doing, like which has results. If it has good results, I feel happy about myself. If it doesn't, then I kind of slip into some kind of a mode where I'm not able to get any work done. So it's filled with procrastination, and I feel very bad about myself. So when we first came to IT, we had all these dreams, and nobody wants to be mediocre, right? Everybody wants to be very good at what they're doing. And but here, like, we have to learn a lot of things, and so there has to be a lot of failure. And we see that, okay, we don't measure up in the ways which we thought we will. In some places, maybe it needs a lot of work there. So what do you think, how does this self-worth comes? Is it from our work, or is it something else, or is it just the results of work and not also work and its results, or just the work? And also this none of us can be the, like, all of us can't be the toppers of their field. So how to be mediocre and maybe not that way, but happy with whatever you're doing? How to be satisfied and not have these egos of I have to be the best, and if I am not the best, then I won't do this, and that kind of very negative thinking, or very selfish thinking also. Will you please tell us about these 2 points? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tanishta, for sharing these, because I understand, and as I know that this is a very important aspect of life of being a mediocre, or how do you see your self worth? So I would want to connect this to the session that we had done before, which was on self love and good habits. Many a time, what happens is we are very harsh to ourselves, that we talk to ourselves in a very negative manner, saying that I have struggled so far to be into a place like IIT, but I am not doing the best of the opportunity that is given to me. or I am working day in and day out, but the scores that I get, or the answers, or the scorings that I get on my answer sheet is not a good score or a digit that I look after. Or else many times we also come across the fact that I want to do XYZ things all together, but I do not know where to start from, and that's where the procrastination happens. To answer all of this, the first and foremost thing is, how do you consider yourself in your own eyes? That is, your self-worth is dependent completely about you. If you consider yourself to be a very good, hardworking, and a genuine person, I can guarantee you that end of every day, at least before sleeping, you will feel accomplished about at least 2 out of your 10 tasks. If in case you are, many a times we complain a lot, this did not go as per my liking, that did not work out well, this always is a problem with me, I always try and do best but it never works out. If this is your self talk, that means you have a negative self thought explanation that goes on. The moment you stop complaining, the moment you have a shift in your thought process, your the way you act or the way you put your effort will change. That is when the procrastination comes into action. Why was the procrastination happening? Because you were scared with the failure that kitna bhi mehnat kar lo, you're gonna be again coming down. But if you tell yourself that I have done this mehnat or this amount of effort has gone in, this is what is my expectation. While I expect it to be of the highest quality or the uppest grade, I know that not everybody is going to be on the top. But does that mean that I stop doing the effort? If not today, then tomorrow for sure you will be seeing yourself on being at the top level. That will happen when you become considerate and compassionate towards yourself. How will that self compassion come? When you instill good habits, when you make your habits from your mind, and you will have your emotions and everything coming from your heart. Many a times it is said that you need to have a mind and your body balancing. If your mind and body is balanced well, the rewiring will happen better. That means your self-worth or your self-love needs to come from your brain. If you love yourself and your brain as an individual, all your habits will come from your heart. Usually it's the other way around. People say you should love yourself. No, first you need to acknowledge and accept yourself. If you love yourself from here, all your good habits will come from here. I hope that will help you to bring a change across how to identify where you're putting your efforts, whether or not it is going correct. If you're procrastinating, why you're procrastinating, and what is the next step that you need to do. Is that okay, Swati? Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, thank you, Tanisha. Does that help?
Yes, it helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question.
Ma'am, can
Yes,
you hear me?
Harsh.
Yeah, I had this question. So,
Can you be a little loud, Harsh? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
okay, I will try.
Yes.
So, am I like loud enough now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so about the course of failure. So, like maybe like many of the time, or I would say recently, like I have been, in this year of COVID, like had some quite bad semesters, I would say. So what I think is like, okay, so like let's say third semester was bad, and now this is the fourth semester, and I'm trying to be good this time. I'm trying to get everything right, and like everything's not going well, but still I'm trying. But often these failures of like the last semesters or the earlier failures, whenever there is some mention of something to that course or something to that thing that I failed it, they come haunting me. And like they make you sometimes they make you feel like, okay, so you are not regretting them enough. Like I would say, like, I did fail at something, let's say, and if I'm not regretting them enough, after some time, or if I'm not feeling bad enough, then I get a feeling like, is it good that I'm not regretting, or is it bad that I'm not regretting? That's why I won't be able to do well now, or I won't be able to correct. So what do you think about it? So should I regret earlier mistakes, or should I not? And is it anyway going to help me build up on that?
Yes. So Harsh, many a times what happens is we come to a stage of stagnation. That stagnation is, if you see a pond, the water is very restricted. It cannot move either back or front. So whenever you are faced with any kind of a failure, or it could be your scores, as you see about your third semester, which is the recent thing that went by. If your scores, or if your all the results that you're getting are on the lower side, or as not as the way you wanted it or you expected it to be, if it is lesser or it is not reaching to your level, whether regretting or not, that should not be the question. The question should be, how is this affecting my thought process? The reason is, I probably remember one of the queries that had come across is, many a times it's like, should I be afraid that I am not putting an effort, or should I make an effort to feel bad about it? In both the ways, the process to move forward from being stagnant is to take action. If I say that in the last few times I have always scored very low, and I have given up because I know कि यार हर बार कम ही scores आते हैं, मैं कितना भी मेहनत कर लूं. Now I am not even afraid of failing because I'm so used to it. Getting used to failure and not working on rewiring the thought or redefining that failure is a stagnation. Accepting that you are failed at some point in time, learning from those mistakes, and then moving forward should be the right approach. If I know that I have been finding it difficult in the last few semesters or into some decision making, I know that I have done not pretty good. How should I change my decision making? What should my way of working or the process of getting there should be? I can approach my senior mentors, I can approach my faculty, I can approach my mentors, I can approach parents for that matter. Ask them that this emotion that I'm feeling, I know it is neither good nor bad because it is neutral. Stagnation is a neutral level. And if you want to move either ahead or behind that stagnation point, you need to give yourself a start. For example, I would want to give you an example of driving. If you have ever driven any vehicle, उसका अगर आप gear neutral में रखते हो, if you're keeping the gear in neutral, the car will neither go ahead nor will it go behind. It will just be at that place. But if you are on a slope, if you're going on a bridge, and if you keep your gear on the neutral, your car will definitely be coming down because you are on a slope and you're expected to go ahead. That's about your career. You are expected to move ahead, but you're not doing anything. By automatic law of nature, you're coming down. But if in case you are at a flat surface, you will see your car is neither going in front nor in the back. That's when you will have to put an effort either to put it into the first gear, move forward, or bring it to a reverse gear and move backward. Wherever you have to go, you will have to have that energy or an inertia to start somewhere. Right now, what I am guessing or I'm able to make out from your thought is that it's come to a very stagnant level. कि यार फर्क ही नहीं पड़ रहा है, कुछ भी कर लो, it's the same. But why is it the same? Why are you getting the same results which is not succeeding? If you want to change your results, either it could be you're really succeeding well, or you're able to find out your mistakes or wherever it is going wrong. The stages that we spoke about, how, what, and why. If you're able to get that in place, I'm sure you'll be able to fix these stages. I hope that helps you, Harsh. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, like it is pretty much on point. But like one thing I like still wanted to ask, and I guess haven't been able to put this well forward. So like I wanted to ask that, sometimes, okay, so if I'm doing well with the things right now, but past failures, which are like recent failures or something, they would come like haunting me. So what should be my reaction then? They are like, okay, do you remember the time then when you failed at this thing?
Yes, yes.
So should I be like, okay, let me give this a thought and let me, regret on it or something? Or should I be like, just forget it? I don't think that forgetting it is the better choice. So what about that?
So the very fact that you are able to relate it to the past failures, that means you have first not accepted that the failure happened, and second of all, you have not been able to move ahead of that failure. If you accept the fact that yes, failure did happen, for whatever reason the failure could be, but it has happened and it has gone into the past. Is there anything that you can change about it today? If yes, act on it. If not, leave it in the past. As easy as it sounds, it's difficult to work on it. That means you have to sit with yourself and allow yourself to feel the pain which happened because of this failure in the past. Only when you allow yourself to feel that pain, you will heal with it. That is, you will overcome that stage. After you are able to heal from that pain, today is when you will have to start with a new slate. What is it that you want to do in the upcoming times? The failures of the past have gone by. There is nothing that you, like today, you can do nothing about it. You have two options: either sit and cry about it, keep thinking about it, or think of that as one of your learning stones, keep it into your army of the things that you want to do, and move forward. Use it whenever it will be required. For example, if you're going across the same kind of examination in the forward, you will know whatever the mistakes you had done in the past, because that's now your wisdom. It is an asset to you, it's your learning now. Take that forward with you and move ahead with a positive approach. That's where I would again want you all to, I would urge you all to go and have a look, or if in case you had attended the session of self love, we spoke about how this acknowledging your own self becomes important. If you allow yourself to feel the pain, to go through the negative emotions, then you will be able to change it to a positive self talk. Whatever you're doing at the moment, Harsh, is a negative self talk. You keep telling yourself, "Arey, last time also I failed, then also again I failed, next time also I gave exam, I failed." That's a negative self talk. That needs to be addressed, acknowledged, accepted, and then changed into a positive self talk. What if I failed last time? That does not mean it has, it will happen again. I can still do it further. Change your self thought, change the way you respond to your emotions, and that is how it will work ahead. I hope that this will help you, Harsh.
Yeah.
Do you think it makes sense to you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want you today to do this activity for me is, on a sheet of paper, write down whatever your failures have been according to you. It could be cycle se gir gaye the. It could be you must have broken your knee while running around. It could have been while you were using your spoon to eat, it just fell down. As small as that, too, probably you gave an exam and did not go well. You went for an interview that did not go well. You went for something and you never knew you could go for it, but you still went and approached and you gave that examination. And today you have passed that and you've come forward. So on one side, I want you to write down the failures. On the other side, I want you to write down your achievements. I'm very sure the fact that you learned to walk, the fact that you learned to speak, the fact that you have been ahead a lot many students, and today you're a student of IIT, that itself is an achievement in many ways. So as I think I was talking to Tanishta also, your self-worth depends on you. So I want you to look at your achievements, change your self-talk from negative to positive and see how changes take place.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, I would do that. Thanks.
Yes. Any more questions, queries that you guys would like to ask
Ma'am?
or share your thoughts?
Ma'am, I'm Sumit
Yes.
Wak. Ma'am, actually, I have a stammering problem due to which I usually, can't express myself in a better way, and due to this issue, many of the opportunities gets मतलब छूट जाती है opportunities, and 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 always and due to which I always get uh, regret and all the other issues that we actually feel, uh, uh, overthinking or the other problems. So means actually I do know that the real source of my all these issues is the stammering issue. But ma'am, can you please tell me the way how can I get rid of this issue?
Yes, yes. So I remember this question which we spoke about in the last few things when we speak about an expression of thought, which is in sometimes we say that somebody speaks too fast. Sometimes a lot of us speaks too less faster, or I can say slow. Many a times stammering happens because first and foremost, it is something to do with your milestones as you were a child. However, if that cannot be changed as an individual, as a mature individual today, what I can help you or what you can do for yourself to help yourself is identify what is it that you would want to share. Many a times, our mind and body connection is what is expected when we say something. You must have seen a lot of interviews wherein people go blank when they talk about things, or even like the famous people that we think that are good speakers have suffered in their backstage where they had difficulties to talk about. All of this does not mean that they as an individual are bad. So when you say that you have a problem, I would say not you, but it is something that can be worked across. First is write down whatever things that you would like to share. When you have that thing written in front of you, I can, like, for example, many a times what I do is I just write down the pointers I want to say. Whenever I use these pointers to say, it helps me, it gives me a cue as to what do I need to say next. If I know that at one go or at the rate of speech that I give, I can cover say 4 to 5 words. Try and plan your sentences or your whatever you want to share in those precise words. If you can remove extra vocabulary and stick to the main words that you would like to share, forming the sentence becomes easier. That means all the adjectives and all of that, you can just remove that out. But whatever is the important thing, just keep that as a sentence and try using it. One thing that definitely works for anybody who has faced any difficulty with the speech or the voice is a mirror work. Go stand in front of a mirror, rehearse whatever you want to talk. Take the breaks wherever you want. Use your sentences to the maximum message conveying. So whatever message you want to convey, use it in that way. You must have seen a lot of people just talk very fast and it is not even required. Wherever required, use the specific words to your own comfortable speed and try and convey that. Also, now this is something could be a little difficult, but I also want you to look within and address what are the insecurities you have. Where is it that you feel insecure about your stammering problem? Does that come as a problem to you? or do you want to use it to your benefit? Either which ways, it is always said that, or if you listen to one of the interviews by Sudha Murthy, she had spoken that one thing that she learned from Mr. Murthy was to talk only when others are listening. And if in case you can make the best of this, I would say, special ability that you have, you can rehearse, ask yourself, what is it that you want to convey? Keep it to that precise, and always, always, always talk to yourself in the mirror. Rather than feeling bad on losing opportunities because of the stammering problem, I would say look at it as a learning. Just reflect into the interviews that you had gone by. Where is it that you felt that the interviewer asked you something and you were in a rush to answer, and that's when you felt that the stammering was happening? If you listen to the opposite person, take that time, frame or build the sentences in your mind, and then reply back, I'm sure the delay in the expression or the delay in the words will not even come across. I want you to practice this. Tell me if that works for you. If not, I am more than happy to connect with you offline, and I will help. Like, we can see how we can take this further. Does that help?
Yes, ma'am.
So
I wish
Very
you
beneficial.
all the very best. Yes, I think we have one more hand up, and then we can conclude today's session.
Nivedita, I just
Yes.
want to add one small thing over here.
Yeah.
So actually, I would urge him and request him to maybe go through the IIT and Speak. So basically, we have the self-help website, and over there we have this IIT and Speak corner. Over there, we have actually touched base with many alums, and we have tried to understand what were their weaknesses, what were their struggles, and how they have coped and how they have succeeded. So there is this one person, Shubham, who was an IIT Bombay student, and he has graduated recently. So he exactly used to go through this stammering problem. He still stammers, but what he used to do is he used to first he used to shy out from speaking in public or doing anything for that matter of fact. But then he started pursuing music, where slowly he overcame what the hurdles he used to face before. Then he used to talk to more and more people. So although it was a challenge for him, but still he actually gave into the fear and gave into the insecurities, and he faced all the challenges. So I will request you to please go and watch his video. Just see what is his story like and how he coped, what are the coping mechanisms he used to overcome his struggles, because he had the same problem of stammering. And he still I'll not say that he has overcome, but it's still there, but he's reduced to a very significant amount. So if you can please then do go and watch his video. It is in the self-help website, which is bandhu.com. Over there there is this IIT and Speak, and in the IIT and Speak corner, you can just find Shubham's video. Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. This is Vishwanath here.
Vishwanath, right?
Yeah.
Can you be a little loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is Vishwanath here. So yeah.
Yes.
So it's been a while now. Like, I had very turbulent time in my life, and with the blessings of God and family support and support from the institute, I tried. I fully, like, not fully, but to the maximum extent, I came out of it. But still that I was sometimes going back to that particular zone. So like, I have one question regarding this particular workshop. I have a huge fear of getting emotionally manipulated. So I would like to get answered from the workshop. Along with that, I have one suggestion. Like, whatever I gone through, same time my family was also going through the similar situation. Like what happened me, they are very concerned about it. Okay, so if is there any possibility that your team can talk to my family? But my family, like I'm Maharashtrian, I speak Marathi at home. So is there any possibility that your team can talk to my family in Marathi, and being an expert, so your advice will definitely help them, and come out of that shock. Now they are very much shocked, but right now they are not in shock. Earlier they were very shocked. So with time, that shock got reduced. But your inputs, your talk little bit, video call, anything, 5-10 minutes discussion will definitely help and boost their confidence. So what it happened, so when I was going through all of this, so I am academically really good student. I have 9 point plus 5 point pointer. I also got Prime Minister Research Fellowship. Academically I'm doing really good, but this was my way of coping with the situation. I studied very hard, like I extremely studied, because that's the only way I thought it will help me to come out of the problem. So it did, eventually it helped me. But I tried different activities, like trying physical exercise, reading motivational books, going out and having discussion with friends and discussing the what I can do to deal with the situation. So all of this definitely helped me to the maximum extent, but that's not happening with my family. So I think yeah. So that's my question and suggestion. Thank you.
Okay. Vishwanath, to address two things. One is, how do you overcome the fear of manipulation? Or if I got that correct, one is about the manipulation. The second is, you requested if in case we could connect with you, with the family members, to reach out to them. I would want Sulagna to take a call and see whether how we can work out for that, whether or not we can. But the first thing to address is when we talk about the manipulation. And also there was something towards the end which I couldn't really hear. I would want Vishwanath, if in case you can write that down in the chat box. But meanwhile, the first thing that I could hear and understand is, how do you talk about, like how do you come across this fear of being manipulated? Many a times we do tell that like people do judge us and they also influence us. When we either get influenced by them, what is the reason by which we get influenced? So manipulation basically happens because somebody is persuading you, or they are telling you the techniques, or they're telling you in something the way they want their things to be done. So first and foremost, you have to identify what is it that they are offering or they are telling you. Does that fall suit with your thought process, your values, your way of doing things? If that fits, or if that is something that affects you, or are you okay going ahead with that? If you're okay going ahead with that, then I'm very sure you will not have a difficulty, or you might not face problems. But the very fact that you feel manipulated, that means somebody is taking the undue advantage of your good side. That is because probably you're giving in a lot, or you are putting in a lot of effort. That effort is being taken, like too much by the opposite end. Ask yourself, what is the boundary that you would like to set? What is the way, or what are the boundaries wherein you tell yourself this is what is okay, comfortable, and you're comfortably able to share it across, and what is it that is not okay with you? When you get comfortable being okay with certain things and being okay with certain things which are not good, that's where you will be able to identify how do you take that thing ahead. Whether you get influenced or you get manipulated is completely in your hand. For that, you need to first be very aware of how is it that you would like to be taken in front of. That is, what is are you okay if somebody tells that this person did not do it better, or that person always complains, or pinpoints onto my mistakes, errors, or even any kind of achievements. If you're able to identify that things well, I'm sure next time you will not get manipulated, you will get influenced. If you are able to make a difference between manipulation and influence, I'm sure you will be able to be your own judge. Manipulation कब होता है जब कोई और आप when somebody else makes a decision on your behalf. Rather, take the charge, make the change, and you give your either answer or response, or take the charge in your hand and tell whether you were okay doing certain things or you're not okay doing certain things. I hope, Vishwana, that helps you with the manipulation part of it.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed, it helped me. Yeah, thank you
Yes.
for the valuable inputs. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, and also there was something else. The second part after the family thing, I couldn't hear. I really want you to write it down so that I can hear it out. Also, there is somebody who's written that since the mic is not working, can being comfortable with oneself be considered as success? Or asking this question of being typically measured on success, okay, in terms of gain possessions of how do you acquire things? Yes. So I the person S, whoever has shared this question, thank you so much for helping us identify what is the means of success. So whenever we talk about success, it needs to come from within. If you are comfortable with yourself, that definitely means you are a step ahead of others, because you are accepting yourself, you are acknowledging your journey, and you are strong enough to walk the path. Rahi baat all the other possessions of materialistic thing, that can be your work, that can be your the designation or the title of your work, or the monetary gains that you earn, or the possessions, house, car, this and that. All of that is secondary. But what is primary is you as an individual. How do you walk this path for yourself? Do you walk this path being burdened by everybody's comments on whatever they say? Or are you strong enough to keep your blinkers on, walk your path, and consider your, you are paving your own path? Many a times, how we see ourselves is very important on what the others do to us. For example, in the last workshop, when we spoke about how being as an individual, if today I tell myself that I do not do XYZ things, पहले तो मैं बहुत चलती थी, अब मैं कुछ नहीं कर पाती हूँ, I do not do this, that, I am constantly giving myself negative criticisms, which the world is any which way is doing to me. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's okay, the word is there. But what I know is I am every day getting up, doing my path well. That could be just walking down for some groceries, or it could be able to put myself across and be with all of us today. That itself also could be one of the things that you can term it as success. If you see yourself being talking good to your own self, acknowledging that yes, you made a mistake, being open to yes, learning from that mistakes and gaining knowledge to move forward, if that is what is something that you're able to do, then I think you are doing amazing. And that is what should be the definition of success. Whatever others say, you can just let them say, because it's their work. You can just focus on your work and then keep moving ahead. I hope that helps you with your answer. If so, please do let me know in the comment so that I know that I've answered you. Also, anybody else who would like to, yes, thank you. Anybody else has any thoughts, queries? Also, please take a moment and share your feedback with us. as it really helps in curating the upcoming sessions. Thank you, Satwik. I also enjoyed the session as much as you all did. Anybody else would like to share anything? If not, Sulagna, can we conclude the session? Okay. So, all right. I believe I was able to answer all your queries and your thoughts and your expectation that you had for the session today. I would urge you all to have a look at the movie or the book as and when you want about Tuesdays with Maury, and I'm sure you'll learn a lot from that 2 hours that you invest in yourself whenever you're free. So, thank you so much for joining in the session today. And I hope, as I said in the start, that I would want you all to be strong enough to cope with your failures and be a new warrior for the tomorrows that you have to come. Thank you, Vishwanath. Thank you so much for your feedback. All right, with that, I shall end the session. I'm wishing you all a very happy weekend. Relax, enjoy, and then be all rejuvenated for the next new week ahead. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.